Last time on Bleach 1000-Year Blood War, the conflict, friends turned foes. Ichigo and Ishida face off as Ishida tries to stop Ichigo from getting in Yuak's way. Donning a new transformation, Ishida confirms once and for all where his loyalty lies by taking out Ichigo as Yuak successfully removes Mimi-Hagi from the Soul King and absorbs his powers. Is it over for Ichigo and everyone else? Or will fate somehow favor the Soul Reapers? Let's find out in episode 5. The episode starts off with a massive flood of some sort of black matter emerging from the Soul Shield membrane into the Seirete. In an attempt to keep the research and development lab safe, Shuhei, Ikkaku, and Yumichika put up resistance against the enormous swarm of what appears to be tiny leech-like creatures. Meanwhile, Byakuya, using his Senbon Zakura, exquisitely clears through scores of the tiny devilish creatures. However, their numbers just don't seem to quiet down, as tons more of them gather into a colossal wave that did not seem like it would go down easy when suddenly they all get crushed like grapes. It was Aizen's doing. Using his incredibly strong spiritual pressure, he swiftly solves the problem like a boss. Seeing Aizen out like this, the rest express serious opposition against this decision by Kyoraku. However, Kyoraku quickly reminds them of the situation in which they were in, with the world on the brink of ending. Using evil in order to defeat evil was not an evil act if it meant the world could be saved by it. Aizen asks Kyoraku to free him, so he could effectively get rid of the eyeball creatures now that they had become allies for the moment. But Kyoraku doesn't fall for it, knowing Aizen didn't need to be released to be able to take care of these things, and that's exactly what happens next. Aizen then uses Kurohitsuki to try and break free, but despite his impressive technique, which he showcased without even saying the incantation, Aizen isn't able to break free from his confinement. Aizen theorizes that the eyeball creatures were probably remnants of Yuak's power that poured out while he was trying to absorb the Soul King's powers, and it will take a little while before he is able to completely make them his own. Offering to eliminate the problem of getting to the Soul Palace, Aizen tries to shoot down the Soul Palace, but his powers suddenly disappear. The chair Aizen sat on had the ability to restrain his spiritual pressure around his body, and quite effectively at that. Kurotsuchi, the inventor of the contraption, then shows up, boasting that no matter how powerful Aizen was, he was not going to overpower his machine. Aizen then challenges Kurotsuchi to test whether his powers or his invention are superior, when all of a sudden he gets struck by a bolt of bright yellow spiritual energy. It's Najakup and the Forsaken Quincy's, here to prevent the Soul Reapers from shooting down the Soul Palace while Yuak was still in there. Kyoraku tells Urahara to quickly open the gate to the Soul Palace. He then asks Najakup if he was here to help them by any chance, to which Najakup replies with a stern no. Having already known things weren't going to be that convenient, Kyoraku places his hand on his Zanpakuto, ready to engage in battle, but before he could do anything, Najakup abruptly gets impaled right through the chest from the back by Bazard. Bazard and the rest of the Quincy's offer to join forces with the Soul Reapers to try and take the Quincy King down, but on the condition of a ceasefire, and that they be taken alongside them to the royal palace so they could kill Yuak themselves for abandoning them. Kyoraku then addresses the entirety of Seirete, calling on all of them to gather around the Lab of Research and Development, requesting they donate some of their spiritual energy as the gate to the Soul Palace required a considerable amount of spiritual energy to open. Battered and bruised, but their spirits still not defeated, the Soul Reapers pick themselves up as they make their way over to the Department of Research and Development. Kenpachi then appears and starts asking about the whereabouts of his lieutenant and dear friend Yachiru. Learning there was still no sign of her, despite the search efforts by the Soul Reapers, Kenpachi decides to take matters into his own hands. However, he finds Nanao blocking his path, requesting he have faith in his comrades and instead make himself useful by going over to the R&D department to donate his spiritual energy, which was desperately needed right now to build the gate. Uncharacteristically, Kenpachi agrees with Nanao's reasoning and heads over to the R&D department. Taking center stage at the very top, Kyoraku addresses everyone present there. With the Soul Society, living in the precipice world, basically all of reality on the verge of collapsing, Kyoraku asks everyone there to forget their past grudges and grievances for the moment, urging them to instead focus their everything into stopping Yuak. The brave captain's powerful words resonate deeply with the audience. The plan was to build the gate, open it here, and storm the Soul Palace. Hiyori, carrying a giant water spout, makes an entrance. Shinji doesn't hesitate to express his shock over seeing her there, to which Hiyori gets mad since she had been busy doing his errands all this time. As soon as the two stop bickering like little kids, Hiyori starts pouring out the content of the water spout, a clear liquid that didn't wet anyone who made contact with it. Urahara explains that it was made from the distortion between the three worlds and was the source of the energy they'll need to head into the royal palace. As soon as Hiyori is done pouring it, Urahara asks Love and the others to go to the autopsy room and put on their shihakusho, the black outfit that the Soul Reapers wore, and return back here. Love throws Hiyori over his shoulders like a bag, and they all go over to change. Meanwhile, Aizen starts moving again after the immobilizing effects of Nijaku start to wear off. He tells Kyoraku he wouldn't get a better chance to kill him than this. Kyoraku replies he would have done so if he could ages ago, attesting to the formidability of the former squad captain. Kyoraku expresses pity for Nijaku, who, despite landing a clean strike, was only able to immobilize Aizen for a mere 5 minutes. Kyoraku then proceeds to leave for the R&D department and tells Aizen to chill, basically until the gate is ready. Sparks fly as the gate starts to form. But before going in, Urahara warns everyone about the possibility of no return once they enter. Soifon throws his words back at him for assuming something as little as that would discourage the honorable 13 court guard squads. Kenpachi, in total Kenpachi fashion, complains about hurrying up and going inside already, so he could crush the enemy. As the lot prepare to enter, observing the odd spectacle of the Soul Reapers and the Quincy's joining forces to fight a common threat, Aizen found it amusingly ironic that Ichigo, the man who tried so hard to stop him from entering the royal palace, was now there. Around the same time, back at the royal palace, Ichigo regains consciousness and is back to normal again. The reason behind it was Inoue, who had been tirelessly healing them all this time, even through the mighty roars of her empty stomach. Now with everyone all healed, she could finally rest. Ichigo then confirms their worst fears. Ishida really had turned over to the wrong side. Inoue then tells Ichigo of Kan's heroics, as he had inflated himself up, which prevented Ichigo's fall. Ichigo leads the prayer for the deceased, as if Kan had died, and Kan quickly gets up to give Ichigo a piece of his mind. Expecting an argument, Kan gets surprised when Ichigo offers him his thanks for saving him. Back to business, Yoriichi figures it won't be long till the space around them starts collapsing, as it had already been a while since Ewok had absorbed the Soul King's powers. Ichigo agrees with her on this, although he is puzzled by how they were going to manage getting back up there without getting noticed by Ewok or any of his loyal servants. Yoriichi tells Ichigo not to worry about that, as all of a sudden, the space in front of her starts distorting and opening up only to reveal Grimjo. Stay connected, like and subscribe for more fun recaps on one and only Endless Recaps.